All right. Good morning, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us all here today. Today's shiur should be le'ilu nishmas our dear friend Menachem ben Yisrael Yaakov, as well as my dear aunt Rivka bas Gavriel Tzvi, and for Zaidi, Reb Shmuel ben Yosef Dov HaKohen, and b'schos the refuah shalema b'karav Mishalom ben Sarah Rachel, Miriam Basara, and Yair Yeshia ben Chaya Tara. Today, we are on page 22 in the Ora Vigdor, for those who are following along. And today we're going to continue some of the benefits that having full trust, 100% in Hashem, gives to an individual. We touched a bit on this first part a bit yesterday. And he says, like, it's another benefit of trusting in Hashem is that if he has to criticize important people, he won't have to be on guard just because of their honor. For example, when you are worried about being supported by somebody, you surely don't want to criticize them. So maybe financially, or maybe politically, or maybe, spiritual, whatever it is, sometimes we lean on others for their support in a certain area in our lives. And if you, who are leaning on that person for that particular aspect, if you're a full Bitachon and you have 100% trust only in Hashem, you understand that this individual is not going to be able to help you unless Hashem wants to. And even if this individual doesn't want to help you and Hashem wants you to be helped, you'll get it regardless. And so therefore, this freedom to admonish is to tell them something when they're doing something wrong. Furthermore, and if he must humiliate them for their wickedness and evil, lo yevash mehem, he won't be bashful or to do so because of them. Even though they may try to retaliate against him or ridicule him in public, he won't care. There is a time, and again, this is not to be taken lightly. You're not supposed to ridicule people in public. You're not supposed to call someone out in public. But when someone's doing an avera and you tell them repeatedly over and over and over, there is a point at time, I'm not going to show when, I think it's after 3 times, you're supposed to actually embarrass them in public. Now, to do this process of doing this is not for the faint of heart. It's not for anyone who just, I warned them 3 times. It doesn't work that easily. There's a process that goes into it. You have to be super careful about it. It's just like what we said yesterday in the pasuk. It says that you shouldn't go about, giving it into your friend that it's doing a sin, but at the same time committing a sin at the same time, when you're not supposed to. So again, going back to this, and also to embarrass them in public, and he won't embellish their faults or pretending that they're saying the truth. So when someone comes up with something, a lie, and you who might be leaning on them for their support, whatever type of support that is, they might say, right, Avi, right? And you shake your head and you say, yeah. But really you don't agree. Someone who trusts fully in Hashem, you're not going to agree with the person. You're going to say, no, I don't agree with the craziness of what you're saying or what you're doing. Absolutely not. That's against halacha. It's against everything, all morals. I absolutely disagree with it. And even though you're leaning on that person for financial support, moral support, political support, whatever it might be, but yet you know that the help that you're going to get is not going to come from this person. It's going to come from Hashem only. Kimoshe Kosev Navi, it says in Navi, he wrote, Vashem Alekim Yazar li, Hashem, God will help me, Al Kain loy nechlamti, therefore I'm not humiliated, Al Kain samti b'fanai b'chalomish, therefore I made my face as hard as flint. He kept a stern face, ve'eda ki loy evash, and I knew that I would not be ashamed, meaning that he understood that even though that he is going to say something to someone who's of power, and this person could retaliate against him, he doesn't care. And he says over here, I knew that I would not be ashamed. Why? Because he had full trust in Hashem. And this is Yeshaya. So in order to be a prophet like Yeshaya, to tell people the truth, you must have trust only in Hashem, and you have to make up your mind that you're going to do your duty to say the truth no matter what people like to hear. Therefore, we're really boiling down to a point where you're in a place, you're so entrusted in Hashem that you're there to say the truth, nothing but the truth, so help me God. Right? And that's the point he's making over here. Yecheskel said, quoting Hashem's words to him, don't be afraid of their words and don't be intimidated before them. Many times, Rabbi Avigdor says, people get upset when they're criticized. In effect, Hashem said over here, forget about their criticism, you're a messenger from me, you're my messenger, God's messenger. Say my words and disregard what they say. The point what Hashem was making over here is you are my messenger. I sent you to go do a job. Don't listen to a mortal. Listen to the immortal, to God alone, the only power, Hashem Echad, right? And therefore, you shouldn't be afraid to say so because I'm telling you to do so. Now, of course, this is what we spoke about yesterday. The Gemara says when you criticize somebody, try not to hurt his feelings. As it says, you must surely criticize your fellow man, but do not bear his sin because of him. According to one view given by the Gemara, this means you shouldn't have a sin because of your words that hurt his feelings. Meaning, when you say something to someone, you can hurt their feelings at the same time, even though they're doing an avera, even though you warned them multiple times before that. Still doesn't give you a right to hurt their feelings in the midterm. Just because they're doing an avera doesn't mean you could commit an avera as well. So he says, if you're able to transmit the message in a kind words that don't hurt too sharply, you should do so. However, sometimes the only way to transmit is by being sharp. Therefore, a man who trusts in Hashem, but not in other people is capable of giving this message of Hashem's words over in a way that makes sense and it's proper. That's why today so many people are silent when they see wicked things taking place, Rabbi Avigdor says. Because we're sold out. We're afraid of everybody. We're afraid what the world thinks. We're afraid what the world thinks about us. We're sellouts. And he speaks over here, he says, to come out against a whole world of wickedness is certainly a very, very difficult task. But the one who trusts in Hashem 100% is capable of doing things like that and ignoring the entire world. And he goes further to say over here in Shaar Habitachon, V'amar, it says in Yirmiyahu, it says, Atiru mipneim, don't be afraid of them. V'amar Sam, and further one said, Al teichas mipneim, don't be intimidated before them. They tried to kill Yirmiyahu, and actually they put him in a swamp. They want to drown him and kill him. But he was saved, it says in Yirmiyahu, it says he's saved by a black man from being drowned. And despite all that, when he was sitting over there in the water being drowned, he didn't stop. He gave it into them. He said, I don't care. I'm not afraid of you. You can do whatever you want with me. I'm still going to say my piece. He says, V'amar Yecheskel, and Hashem said to Yecheskel, K'shamir chazak mitzar nusati mitzecha. Like a metal stronger than flint, that have I made your forehead. Lo sira oisav lo seichas mipneim. Don't be afraid of them and don't be intimidated before them. And that's one of the benefits of being a Baal Bitachon. You can be a man of truth. You don't have to walk around like a sheep and just follow along, shake your head, yeah, I agree with you, only because that person is more powerful and that person is a higher status in society. When you're full, blown Baal Bitachon 100%, you don't have to worry about those things. You can be a man who you have your opinion and you're not afraid to say it and you're not afraid of what everyone else thinks about it. It's your opinion and that's the way you feel is right. And he says, interesting little point he makes of his teaching is a bit like meat. Meat is very good by itself, but you have to put a little bit of salt on the meat. Just taking it as is might not be so palatable. And let's say you become a rabbi of a congregation and you listen to the Chavos Avos over here, right? You listen to the Chavos Avos, full trust in Hashem, and tell everyone the way it is. You find yourself a Rabbana somewhere, and over time, if you're really going to speak your mind every single time, you might find yourself without a minyan. It's the same thing with the Rosh Hashiva. The Rosh Hashiva is going to tell off everyone every single moment that he doesn't care just because this is what Rav Av says. He might find himself without a yeshiva one day as well. So what he's saying over, Rav Avigdor is saying over here, be like meat. I understand you're making a point, put a little salt on it. Try to be a little careful of what you say. Make it a little more palatable for people. Say it in a nice way, in a kind way if you have to. Just be careful. At the end of the day, we have to do these things. We have to try our best not to be afraid of the world and trust Hashem in understanding that. But you got to do things with finesse. It's not just easy to just go out. I speak for myself when I say this. I definitely don't have the finesse to be able to do that. I think many of us don't, and I think even big tzaddikim don't have that today. And I think it takes a very, very big level. Now, an additional benefit of Bitachon is freedom from worry. And another of the benefits of Bitachon is shabeteach be'elokim, that for one who trusts in Hashem, yivi'eyu bitchoinoi lefanes es liba minyonei olam. His trust will enable him to clear his mind of the foolish things of this world. Uliyachil levavai, and he will be able to devote all his thoughts of his mind to the matters of avodah. When you don't have Bitachon, all of us know that we have anxiety. Some more than others. Some do really well with anxiety. But the core, and we spoke about this, one of the core benefits of Bitachon is that lack of anxiety. And what's the benefit of that so much? Not just on a personal level, but on a spiritual level. We spoke about this. The idea is over here that when your day is occupied with problems that you don't have control and you're so worried about it, that you don't have time for the important things in life. So the benefit over here, freedom from worry, is that when you don't have any worries because you have trust in Hashem, and not that you don't have any, maybe you have a lot less. It doesn't have to be zero, but you have more, your brain has more space to think about the things that are important in life, to think about things that matter, not about things that you can't control. We know that this world is controlled by Hashem, and you're worried about something that only Hashem could control. And so this benefit of freedom of worry is a huge benefit. It's not just on a personal level, but it gives us the opportunity to be level-headed, to be clear-headed, to be able to go about doing what we're supposed to daven, to learn, to be a proper husband, to be a proper father, a friend. All those different things, those are benefits that come from having peace of mind, because you are easier. Your day is easier. You come home, you're not anxious. You're not telling everyone off. You're not jumping at them and snapping at them for every stupid little thing, because you're comfortable. You're comfortable understanding that Hashem has got this. Tomorrow, we're going to get into talking about the alchemist and the 10 differences that a alchemist has, and it's an advantage. And we talk about how Bitachon is like the alchemist. It's a great topic. I'm looking forward to talking about it starting tomorrow. But until then, thank you everyone for joining us all here today. And like always, I love you all.